he's very specific. He'll say, you know, cut here, cut here, cut here, and you would start trimming, and then he would say, oh, that's enough there, and then you go up here, and that's enough there. And the customer comes in, if he's been coming into this store for 50 or 75 years, some of them, it doesn't look like it's changed to them.
Adrian Wood, New York City's oldest barbershop, Pall Mall, has been snipping and styling the locks of some of the world's most prominent figures, rock stars, presidents, and legends of every kind. Yet none proved more enigmatic or exacting than Donald Trump. For over 30 years, one man, Adrian Wood, meticulously maintained Trump's infamous hairstyle, following strict instructions on where scissors could, and absolutely could not, go. Now at 82, Wood is finally breaking his silence, sharing a behind-the-scenes story unlike any the public has heard. Wood's journey to becoming one of New York's most revered barbers began far from Manhattan. Born and raised in the United Kingdom, he developed an early appreciation for traditional barbering, drawn to its precision and its social role. As a teenager, he honed his craft by practicing trims and shaves on friends and family. In the early 1970s, he made a bold move to New York City, a city defined by its speed, ambition, and constant reinvention. Wood joined Pall Mall Barbershop, a landmark establishment founded in 1913 and famed for serving an elite clientele. He embraced the challenge of preserving old-school elegance amid changing trends. Throughout the 1970s and 80s, as styles shifted from conservative to flamboyant, Pall Mall remained devoted to classic grooming. Wood understood that while fads might come and go, the foundation of barbering, precision, consistency, and human connection, endured. As modern salons swept across the city, Wood doubled down on tradition. At Pall Mall, straight razor shaves and tailored cuts weren't just services, they were sacred rituals. The shop became a sanctuary, where conversation flowed as smoothly as the clippers, offering not just haircuts, but a true New York experience. Located on the Upper East Side, Pall Mall was more than a barbershop, it was a slice of living history. Originally opened by French immigrant Paul Mall to serve the area's affluent residents, it had, by the time Wood took over, become the city's oldest and most respected barbershop. Wood preserved its legacy carefully, blending timeless charm, leather chairs, antique mirrors, the scent of sandalwood, with subtle modern touches. Yet it was the clientele that gave it soul. Wall Street executives, Hollywood stars, even music royalty like John Lennon found their way to its doors. Lennon once quipped that a good haircut kept him grounded. John F. Kennedy Jr. was also a regular. And then, there was Donald Trump. Their professional relationship began in the 1970s, when Trump, a young and ambitious real estate developer, first walked into Pall Mall. He had big dreams, and an even bigger vision for his appearance. Trump knew exactly what he wanted and made that clear from the start. "We only cut around the edge," he told Wood. The top of his head was completely off limits, untouchable territory that only Trump himself would manage. Trump's hair, even then, wasn't just a style choice, it was part of a carefully engineered public persona. He favored a voluminous comb-over, structured almost architecturally to give the appearance of fullness. According to Wood, Trump would spend significant time after each trim brushing and positioning his hair just right, especially around the crown and thinning areas. For Trump, the hair symbolized far more than vanity. It was about image, dominance, and control, consistency in a world of chaos. As Trump's public identity evolved from ambitious tycoon to global figure, so too did the significance of the hairstyle he refused to compromise. From TV personality to President of the United States, Donald Trump's hairstyle never changed, and that consistency was no accident. It was a deliberate part of his brand, a visual constant that reinforced his image. Trump understood the power of appearance, and for barber Adrian Wood, this meant obeying one unbreakable rule: only cut around the edge. The top of Trump's head was off limits, fiercely guarded as he worked to conceal his bald spot. While Trump reportedly used hair growth treatments like Propecia, Wood stayed out of that realm. His job was simple: trim exactly as instructed, nothing more. What struck Wood the most wasn't just Trump's attention to grooming, but the exacting precision he demanded. Unlike other high-profile clients who might chat idly, Trump's conversations were sharp, purposeful, and often centered around business, politics, or personal ventures. Even in the barber's chair, he exuded control. Their professional relationship deepened unexpectedly in the late 1980s when Pall Mall Barbershop faced a crisis. Skyrocketing rent on the Upper East Side threatened the shop's ground floor location. During a routine trim, Wood confided in Trump about the financial pressure. Trump's response was swift and strategic: move the shop to the second floor, where rent would be lower. Though initially hesitant to give up such a prime spot, Wood followed the advice, and it proved pivotal. The move saved the shop, and Wood credits Trump's business acumen for the survival of New York's oldest barbershop. Trump remained a loyal client, and over the years, their conversations revealed glimpses of his relentless mindset. He often spoke of his real estate ventures, especially Trump Tower, describing it not merely as a building but as a symbol of power and prestige. He detailed the hurdles of financing and permitting with a drive that clearly foreshadowed his later political ambitions. Yet, even with his serious tone, Trump could occasionally show humor. Would recall teasing him about the time he spent arranging his hair after a cut. Trump's reply? "It's not about the time, it's about getting it right." That, to Wood, encapsulated Trump's philosophy: every detail mattered, and nothing was left to chance. While to some, it may have seemed like vanity, Wood viewed it as another facet of Trump's intense focus on controlling his image. As Trump's fame grew more polarizing, Wood remained neutral. He didn't wade into politics, he stayed focused on his role as a barber who understood the power of presentation. Even after Trump became president, Wood took quiet pride in having contributed to the routine that shaped a world leader's visual identity. Their decades-long relationship, built on mutual respect and consistency, stood out in a career filled with notable names. Though Trump was perhaps the most exacting, he wasn't the only famous figure to sit in Wood's chair. Clients like John Lennon and John F. Kennedy Jr. visited during transformative moments in their lives. Each left a lasting impression. Lennon, for instance, came to Pall Mall Barbershop during a time of personal reinvention. Having relocated to New York City, he was immersed in activism and the local arts scene, far removed from the Beatles' spotlight. Wood had expected a global superstar to enter with flair, perhaps even ego. Trailed by an entourage? Not John Lennon. Instead, he often came to Pall Mall Barbershop alone, moving quietly through the space as if hoping not to be noticed. There were no diva demands, just casual conversations about New York's music scene or questions about local spots to explore. What struck Adrian Wood most was Lennon's humility. One day, the iconic musician even joked that his long hair had become more of a statement than he ever intended, requiring as much upkeep as his public image. Lennon preferred a disheveled, natural style, and Wood delivered exactly that, artfully undone, yet subtly tailored to frame his face. For Lennon, the shop wasn't a stage, it was a refuge. In contrast, John F. Kennedy Jr. entered with an effortless magnetism. The son of a president, JFK Jr. greeted everyone, socialites and barbers alike, with warmth and genuine respect. He possessed a storyteller's charm, often regaling the room with courtroom anecdotes or tales from his flights. Appearance mattered deeply to him. His look had to strike a careful balance, professional, yet personable. For Wood, this meant crafting cuts that blended timeless elegance with a modern edge. Yet behind JFK Jr.'s charisma, there were flashes of vulnerability. On one occasion, he confided in Wood about the pressure of living under the Kennedy legacy. Wood simply listened, honoring the sacred, unspoken trust between barber and client. During another visit, ahead of a magazine shoot, Kennedy requested a shorter cut. Wood refined his look to highlight that iconic jawline. When the photos were published, Wood felt a quiet pride. His craftsmanship had helped shape how the world would see JFK Jr. Wood's clientele didn't stop with political royalty and peace icons. Rock stars, actors, and tycoons all took turns in his chair. One aging rocker, fiercely protective of his signature mane, insisted on preserving the wild look even as age thinned it. Wood's challenge was to shape a layered cut that created the illusion of volume without exposing the truth. While the musician filled the room with tales of life backstage, Wood ensured his signature edge remained intact. Actors came too, often requesting cuts that contrasted with their rugged on-screen personas. One action star, known for his gritty roles, always demanded a clean, sharp cut that emphasized precision. Wood found the irony amusing. The man who played untamed rebels preferred the most refined grooming. But that was Pall Mall, a place where image and identity collided, and even the most famous faces could just be themselves. Perhaps what truly set the shop apart wasn't its celebrity roster, but the quiet dignity that filled the space. A rock legend could sit beside a lifelong local, a CEO beside a construction worker, and every client received the same meticulous care. To Wood, everyone was equal. Still, the contrasts were telling. Celebrities often arrived guarded, but once seated, many revealed deeply human sides, worries, frustrations, and dreams not so different from the man next to them. One day it might be an investment banker urgently discussing the market. The next, a best-selling author venting about writer's block. Wood listened, not out of politeness, but because he believed in connection. To him, cutting hair wasn't just a service, it was a calling. Crafting iconic hairstyles wasn't just about appearance, it was about identity. A great haircut, Adrian Wood believed, could shape how the world saw a person. Styling the hair of celebrities involved more than scissors and combs. It demanded intuition, empathy, and an eye for both the seen and the unseen. For Wood, mastering the look of some of the world's most recognizable faces was more than a job. It was a responsibility, and an art. Understanding how hair behaves is only part of Adrian Wood's craft. He also understands how image works. In his world, a single hairstyle can become iconic, subject to constant scrutiny under the glare of cameras, press, and public opinion. While most barbers focus on practical, everyday cuts, Wood operates in a different league. His clients need styles that look flawless not only in person but also under studio lights, during television appearances, on red carpets, and through spontaneous encounters with paparazzi. There is no room for error. The haircut must be camera-ready, durable, and timeless. One of the greatest challenges Wood faces is ensuring longevity. A haircut might appear perfect in the chair, but without intentional structure, it could fall apart moments after a client steps outside. For someone like Donald Trump, whose hair is an unmistakable part of his brand, this is not an option. His hair had to be sculpted, built with structure and volume to last not just hours but days. Wood relied on layering techniques to create depth and movement without stiffness, using subtle texturing to maintain control while avoiding rigidity. Precision was key. Unlike casual or tousled styles, high-profile clients often demand perfect symmetry and balance. Every angle must flatter, every line must be deliberate. Over time, this level of perfection became second nature to Wood, developed through decades of working with the world's most discerning clientele. One of his signature methods, perimeter trimming, focused solely on cutting around the edges of the hair, preserving natural flow while leaving the crown untouched. This technique was crucial for Trump, who famously refused to let anyone touch the top of his head. He preferred to style it himself, using a personal routine that Wood learn to work around with finesse. To support Trump's self-styling while ensuring his haircut remained cohesive and polished, Wood turned to carefully chosen products, light hold gels, pomades, and volumizing sprays. These products provided shape and structure without looking artificial. For clients experiencing thinning hair, Wood used strategic cutting patterns and styling techniques that created the illusion of density. His goal wasn't just appearance, it was about building a style that could withstand travel, humidity, and unpredictable weather without faltering. Yet, the technical skill was only half of the equation. A critical but often invisible element of Wood's work was discretion. In a world fascinated by the personal details of the rich and famous, he remained steadfast in his commitment to client privacy. Conversations in his chair stayed there. Whether he was styling a politician, rock star, or business mogul, Wood respected their confidence. That quiet professionalism earned trust, and many clients confided in him not just about their looks, but their lives, their struggles, aspirations, and private thoughts they rarely shared with others. What truly set Wood apart wasn't just how he cut hair, but how he connected with people. Many clients returned to his chair for decades, watching him evolve as he witnessed their lives change. In an industry where trends shift overnight, Wood's dedication to classic barbering, clean lines, traditional techniques, and the warm hum of an old-world shop became his anchor. While sleek, fast-paced salons dominate the modern scene, Paul Mole, New York City's oldest barbershop, remains a sanctuary for authenticity. Still, Wood isn't a relic of the past. He understands that staying relevant requires adaptation. Younger clients often seek updated styles and quicker appointments, and Wood has found ways to balance innovation with tradition, never compromising the soul of the barbershop, but evolving where it matters. In this space, Wood is more than a barber. He is a confidant, a craftsman, and a quiet observer of the human experience, one careful snip at a time. And sometimes Adrian Wood was more than just a barber, he was a therapist. His clientele ranged from titans of industry to blue-collar workers, and regardless of their social status, they all spoke freely in his chair. Whether venting about work, reflecting on family life, or discussing the pressures of fame, clients found a confidant in Wood. He understood that people came not just for grooming, but to feel seen, heard, and understood. Even Donald Trump, known for his larger-than-life persona, would often drop the performance during visits. He spoke candidly about real estate, business strategies, and the stress of maintaining his public image. Wood never pried or judged, he simply listened, knowing that behind every public figure was a human being with hopes, doubts, and challenges. Sometimes, those conversations led to unexpected wisdom. During a difficult period when rising rents threatened the future of Paul Mole Barber Shop, it was Trump who offered a simple yet effective solution: move the shop to the second floor. The advice reduced costs and ultimately helped the historic establishment survive. It reminded Wood that resilience often comes from thinking creatively, and that good advice can come from anyone, no matter how the world views them. One life lesson Adrian Wood often reflects on is the power of consistency. Trump's exacting grooming routine, his strict process, and his insistence on precision showed Wood that those who maintain a consistent image often thrive in the public eye. For many, routines offer a sense of control in an unpredictable world. Another takeaway from his celebrity clients was resilience. Under constant public scrutiny, many develop thick skin, not by obsessing over criticism, but by focusing on their image, their routines, and their purpose. That mindset reinforced for Wood the importance of perseverance, both in his craft and in running a traditional barber shop in modern times. Keeping a legacy business like Paul Mole relevant requires a delicate balance of old-school craftsmanship and adapting to evolving trends. And then comes the question that's captivated millions for decades: is Donald Trump's hair real? Trump's former barber is finally speaking out. Of all the things that have sparked debate about Trump, few have been as enduring as his hair. For years, it's been mocked, analyzed, and speculated upon. Is it a wig? A comb-over? Implants? The rumors never ceased. Now, Adrian Wood, who cut Trump's hair for more than 20 years at the iconic Paul Mole Barber Shop, is ready to set the record straight. Trump's signature hairstyle, that voluminous blonde sweep, has been part of his identity since his early real estate days. As his fame grew, from business mogul to television star to president, public curiosity about his hair only intensified. Some have called it a toupee, others claim it's a masterful comb-over, and a few suspect surgical enhancements. One viral moment came in February 2018, when a gust of wind caught Trump boarding Air Force One, lifting the back of his hair and revealing a bald spot. The clip reignited talk of a carefully engineered comb-over. Then there was his 2016 appearance on The Tonight Show, when Jimmy Fallon tousled his hair live on TV. The moment appeared to silence wig rumors. The hair didn't budge and looked firmly rooted. According to Fire and Fury by Michael Wolff, even Ivanka Trump joked that her father's unique hairstyle was the result of scalp reduction surgery and strategic combing to cover a bald patch, though Donald Trump has never confirmed this. only added fuel to the ongoing speculation about his hair. A New York Times report following the viral Air Force One incident echoed similar theories, citing a possible combination of hair loss, scalp surgery, and clever styling techniques. According to the report, scalp reduction, a cosmetic procedure that stretches hair-bearing skin to cover bald areas, could be part of the explanation behind Trump's distinctive hairstyle. Trump, however, has repeatedly addressed the topic, notably on The Howard Stern Show, insisting that his hair is real. Despite Stern's attempts, Trump never budged on the matter. But what's the real story? According to Adrian Wood, Trump's longtime barber, the mystery is overblown. People wonder because it looks different depending on the lighting and angle, Wood explained. But it's 100% real, no wigs, no implants, just a lot of maintenance. Trump's haircare routine is intense and highly specific. We only cut around the edges. Never touch the top, Wood said. Trump insists on preserving the volume and length that define his image. Contrary to assumptions that a stylist sculpts the top, Trump styles it himself, applying selected products, combing strategically, and maintaining the signature swoop with great care. While most public figures opt for trendy, polished haircuts, Trump's style stands out, and that's by design. He likes his look and sticks with it. He's not changing with the trends, Wood noted. One surprising element in the routine is Trump's use of Propecia, a prescription drug for hair loss. In 2017, his longtime doctor confirmed that the medication helped him maintain hair density. Wood concurs, Trump's hair has thinned over the years, but it remains his own. Propecia helped slow the hair loss but didn't create any artificial volume. So why all the confusion? Wood attributes it to the texture of Trump's hair. It's finer than most. It can look wispy or full depending on how it's styled. Trump's secret lies in his meticulous routine, careful blow-drying and lightweight sprays for hold. It's all about volume. Once it's set, it stays, Wood said. Ultimately, Trump's hair is more than a style, it's a symbol. Bold, unchanging, and entirely his own, it has evolved into a metaphor for the man himself, unconventional and impossible to ignore. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss any of our new content. And don't forget to check out the video on your screen. It's absolutely unbelievable.